Hey everyone, Tracy Jackson here, the Tax Savvy Nurse. And in this video, I'm going to be talking about 5 reasons why nurses need to have a side business, okay? Or why I think they should, let's just say it that way, why I think they should have a side business, okay? And for those of you that don't know me, I help nurses and health professionals to pay the least amount in taxes, increase their cash flow, and to build wealth. Okay, so let's get right into it. So, reason number one is to help prevent nursing burnout, all right? Nursing burnout and health issues related to self-neglect. Okay, so that might sound kind of crazy, but as nurses, we wear so many hats, we do so many things, and we can be easily drained mentally, physically, spiritually. You got nurses throwing their backs out, you got nurses going into work crying because it's so stressful depending on what kind of job or what kind of conditions you work under. It's just really draining. So I think some people understand what nurses go through, but some really don't see the full picture of how it can be easy to neglect ourselves and our families because we don't have the mental capacity or outside of what we're doing at work constantly for 15 hours. Some people do it 6 days a week. It can just really take everything that you have. So unless you have a really strategic plan to help rebuild yourself back up, to be able to function, it can be easy to, be taken out of the game, right? So if you are injured, let's say if you're injured or if for some reason you're unable to work, that's going to take away your income, right? So you want to have a side business to try to prevent that burnout because I know for me, in the past 12, almost 13 years of being a nurse, I've always had a part-time business, and it allowed me to be able to have a little more flexibility with not having to work so many hours. So I was never the nurse that wanted overtime. I was never the nurse that wanted an extra shift, to come in on my day off, to stay later, to whatever, because I always had a way to generate income for myself. And so it didn't put that stress on me to feel like I needed to work 50, 60 hours a week at my job. So having a side business, again, can help you, just give you more options outside of nursing so that you're not burning yourself out and causing health issues. For some people, they're gaining weight, they're not eating right, they're constantly working, they may be working night shift, trying to drink a lot of sodas and coffees and everything to stay awake just to get through the shift and not kill a patient, just being honest, right? We're trying not to hurt anybody, but we neglect ourselves along the way trying to take care of everybody else. So that's just my take on it. If you have another way, another outlet, then it doesn't force you to have to overwork yourself under harsh conditions, as in some cases, to be able to make ends meet. Okay, so reason number two is the opportunity to create your own financial blueprint. So the reality is, depending on where you live as a nurse, depends on kind of where you're starting with your pay. And if you are just getting wages, which most nurses that work for a hospital or a clinic or whatever, you're getting paid a wage. You are not able to determine what that wage is, right? So they're going to come in and say, we're going to pay you $30 an hour, whatever, $25 an hour, and 40 hours a week, and they're going to tell you what days you have to work. That's a job, right? If you have your own small business, you're able to pretty much make as much as you want. All right. And that is the opportunity that you want to have because, for example, I spoke to a nurse who lived in Florida and they're paying her, $25 an hour. In Florida, the cost of living is a little bit lower. So even when I was looking for work there, I went from making $30 an hour as a new nurse in Maryland. And just by transferring to another state, they wanted to drop my pay. And that's close to maybe what an LPN would make in Maryland, right? So yeah, doesn't make sense. And literally, I was with the same company doing dialysis, and I was doing the same work, right? So same work, same company, $5 less an hour. Okay. Guys, if that doesn't wake you up and help you to understand that you have to have a business on the side, because that way it doesn't matter what state you work in. Yeah, you might make a little less or a little more, but if you have something else on the side, you're able to generate as much income as you want. The other thing I want to say about that is we're talking about when you talk about business versus and being an employee, there the difference is you can generate residual income. So when you're a nurse, you trade time for money. You work a certain number of hours, you get paid a certain number of money. I mean, a number of certain amount, right? If you have residual income, if you create a business where you can generate income, residual means that you're getting paid multiple times monthly or over and over and over again for work that you may have done just once, right? So it could be signing up a new client or a new customer that's going to pay you monthly for just acquiring that customer the first time. So that's a huge difference, you guys, because when you talk about what I was talking about before with the nursing burnout, right? If you generate residual income, right, while you are working as a nurse, that if you burn out and you say, look, I can't work anymore, let's say you injure your back, you can't work, you have maybe long-term disability or some kind of disability benefit, but that's only going to be a fraction of the money that you already are struggling to live off of in the first place, right? But if you had your own and you were having something that could pay you over and over and over again, that would be less stressful for you, right? That'll give you more options to be able to still sustain your lifestyle on your own terms. All right. So again, financial freedom. Number two is financial freedom to be able to really generate residual income, an additional income on the side so that you can choose what you're worth and not allowing your employer to say, look, you're going to come in and do this, this, and this. I don't care if you throw your back out. I don't care if someone poops on you. I don't care if somebody spits on you. I don't care if I give you 7 patients and you can't handle it. It doesn't matter. You're going to do what we say do, right? Or we can come outside of that. Okay, not saying that you shouldn't do nursing. I'm not bashing nursing. I absolutely love it because I've found a niche in an area and a place that I enjoy working. But the problem is I know hundreds and hundreds of nurses that literally are crying going into work, and it shouldn't be like that, okay? So give yourself options by really determining what you're worth and not allowing them to create that idea for you. And then number 3 is time freedom, right? So there's some nurses that have really cool schedules, and the cool thing about it is that we can work overnight. We can work 3 day. We can work weekend option 3 days. 3 days a week. You can work 4 12s a week. You can work 4 10s a week. Like it's any schedule that you could think of, you pretty much can create in nursing, right? You can be a travel nurse and work 14-week assignments and then take 2 months off if you want. But so there is some time freedom there, but for a lot of nurses, because again, they're working double shifts, overtime shifts, I know nurses working 6 7 days a week, 10 to 12 hours, and they have limited to no time with their families. You can imagine just being extremely drained after working like that nonstop. And so when I say time freedom, it kind of gives you, again, an opportunity to build income for yourself as much as you would like to create so that if you wanted to leave nursing, you could, and that would give you the time freedom that you need to be able to now once again enjoy your husband, enjoy your family, enjoy yourself. All right, I'm a big advocate of that. We have to start enjoying ourselves and taking care of ourselves. And if you are working and busting your tail as a nurse 6 7 days a week for long shifts, you are not, that's not healthy, right? It's not healthy for you or your family. So number 3 is basically creating the opportunity to get more time freedom. Okay, and so reason number 4 is the opportunity to impact people in a way that you want to impact them without having restrictions. And I'll give you an example. after a couple years of being a nurse, I realized that actually, let me just say this, after a year of nursing, I realized that I am not a hospital nurse. I have not been back in a hospital since then. I ran so fast, quick, and in a hurry out that door, okay? Because for me, I didn't feel comfortable with just, well, let's just say I didn't feel efficient in being a nurse in a hospital. I didn't feel like I was making an impact. Now, yes, we need people to care for people who are acutely sick and they are in the hospital and need to recover. I understand that. But I felt like I was doing nothing but pushing pills, trying to figure out who was due for what, giving them medicine, following orders. I didn't have a lot of time to really teach and educate my patients on how to not come back to the hospital because you got a lot of people that come in for the same issues. It could be an uncontrolled diabetic or they're not taking care of themselves, their blood pressure. So, but for me, I felt really bad because I'm like, okay, well, we're just patching things up and we're sending them out after they're stable. And I really didn't get a chance to educate them or give them anything of value to help them not or help prevent them to not come back to the hospital, right? So quickly left that and I went into community-based nursing and I pretty much done almost everything you could think of except hospice in the community-based nursing setting. So one of the things, I said that to say one of the things that I ended up doing was getting my certification in holistic health coaching. And it allowed me to have a business coaching women who were struggling with weight loss as well as diabetics. Okay. Why is that important? Because when you work in traditional medicine, there are restrictions. And it's funny because I actually just watched a video of a nurse who has her own wellness company and she almost sounded like me talking, is because she was saying how there are restrictions. Of course, we can say certain things, we'll educate on medicines, we'll educate on disease processes, but how much can we actually give people or patients the support to really have the tools to go home and then manage what they're dealing with? Because the doctor a lot of times will say, okay, you need to lose weight, you're overweight, and it's going to help your diabetes with your blood pressure. You got to bring your weight down, you got to change your diet, right? We hear that all the time, but are they really, and this is not throwing shots at doctors or whatever, but they will tell you what to do, but a lot of times the patient doesn't have the resources. So one of the things I was doing with health coaching that allowed me to make an impact outside of my job was to give them the roadmap or the tools and the resources to actually get to their goal, to actually lose the weight, holding them accountable, helping them to set goals, customizing their diet for them. Okay, not to go into all that, but those were the types of things that I was able to do that could fulfill my passion for giving people support, all right, outside of the hospital, outside of the doctor's office, and all of that. So that's just one example. So reason number 4 really is for those, a reason you should have a business is because you are now able to have more freedom to really implement what you want to implement in that field or in whatever you're doing. And it doesn't have to be nursing or health related. For example, what I'm doing now is finance related, right? Helping nurses and health professionals to understand their tax situation, understand their finances so they don't have to be a nurse forever, so they don't have to be in debt forever, so that they can take the money that they're using as a nurse and start putting it into places to where it can grow for them. So all those types of things, right? So that's where my business is focused at this time, really helping to solve a problem that I saw, right? So again, number 4 really is around really being able to have the freedom to do the things that you still enjoy doing while getting paid for it and to solve problems outside of nursing or outside of the traditional nursing setting. Okay, so reason number 5 is my favorite because it is to be able to lower or reduce your tax bill, right? So the best way that I can put this, and I heard it put like this one time, is that if you are a W-2 worker or just an employee, then your tax deductions or the tax laws that you're able to be able to benefit from are like the size of a lake. And once you start a business, your tax deductions open up to be the size of an ocean. And that made a lot of sense to me because people always wonder why they have to pay a lot in taxes. And it's because they just have a job. And being a wage earner is different than making income from a business. So you're going to be taxed in most cases much more if you just have a job. So there are so many more deductions as a business owner. And if you guys haven't seen some of my other videos on expenses that you can deduct as nurses or as business owners, definitely go check those out. But it's completely different. So that's why you see businesses coming out saying they don't pay any taxes because they have structured their business in a way to where they understand tax law and tax code. And so for a W-2 worker, there's just not a lot of options for that. You pretty much have the standard deductions, the standard credits for your family, for investing or saving for retirement and education credits, those types of things, right? Basic stuff. But when you open a business, now you're able to write off things that are personal expenses. For example, I am sitting in one, right? My office, I'm able to write off. Why? Because I use it to run my business. Yes, I am a nurse, but here's the whole point of this video is that you can still be a nurse and still have a part-time income or a side income. And now you're able to access hundreds more of deductions, that things that you're spending money on anyway. So my office, anything that I use in my office for my business, printer, supplies, things that I would have been paying for anyway, but now because I've turned them into business expenses, my computer that I'm using right now that I use solely for business, internet service, utility, all of that, right? So you guys can check out my video on those small, deductions and credits and things that you can get for having a business, right? So it is so, so important, you guys, because that can save you thousands of dollars, hundreds to thousands of dollars that you can prevent from having to pay on your taxes by having a business. So I can go so much more into that, but I won't do that for this video's purposes. But just know that that's my fifth reason for being able to just really find other ways that you can pay less taxes by having a legitimate business. The business doesn't, like I said, have to be health related. Nurses have all kind of businesses. I know nurses that have scrub companies. They have, they might have opened a nursing home health agencies, nursing agencies, group homes, but it doesn't have to be health related. You could do whatever your passion is. So for me, mine is finances. You got people that are just doing that could be doing hair, that could be, having a daycare, whatever it is, right? You can do whatever, right? You can easily become a consultant and charge for your services based off of whatever it is that you're knowledgeable about or that you are passionate about. You can monetize that. So just understand that. So hopefully you guys understood and grasped these 5 reasons why nurses should have a business. And these are just my reasons that I have had experience with over the years. And feel free to comment below. If you guys are watching this on Facebook or YouTube, I do want to engage with you guys. So comment below some businesses that you already have and the benefit that you have found from having that business on the side, right? So let me know what business you're doing. It could be a networking business. I've done several of those myself. It could be your own personal business or brand, but let me know what you're doing. Okay, let me know what you're doing and how that has helped you. So feel free to like and subscribe to my YouTube channel if you're watching this on YouTube. I will be posting content once a week, at least once a week for you guys. And if you are wanting to see how I generate residual income, that's just one of the incomes that I build. It's very, very helpful to have something coming in monthly off of doing work one time, right? It's exciting because you look at your account and you're like, hey, I got this customer 6 months ago and I'm still generating income. That is how the wealthy really build wealth, right? They are investing, they are putting their money into assets, and they're building residual income so that they can leverage their time and live the lifestyle that they want. So if you want to see what I'm doing for that, for the residual income part, just click the link. I'll make sure that I post that below so you can see the overview of what that looks like. And if you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out to me by private message or schedule a consultation if you don't know what kind of business you would start, if you need help with ideas, or if you have any tax questions around the business that you already have, go ahead and schedule a consultation with me and we can chat about that. So thank you guys for watching this video. Hopefully you found it helpful, and I will see you guys on the next one.